I think there's an enormous challenge to Israeli civil society that we don't talk about enough. And it is this. Societies that are at war for a long period of time become ugly societies. They just do. It is a huge challenge to take a kid like my kid, who's a commando, to train him to kill. That's what he does all day long, is to train to kill. And to have his parents be scared basically all the time with a low level of terror. And I multiply that by 5 of the 6 families who live in my building, by the next building over, and the next neighborhood, and the next city, and the whole country. And to know that the terror that we feel on Sunday mornings when he comes home for Shabbos and goes back to his base, and my wife's face literally turns white like the paper you're holding. And you don't want your daughter, when she, God willing, has children, to feel that same terror. But deep down you know that she probably will, because this is not about to be over. And so the relentlessness of the fear that you feel, and the relentlessness of the hopelessness of trying to resolve this conflict, which I believe is not going to be resolved, as I said before, at any of our lifetimes, can make it very easy to become a hate-infused society. They're Arabs, they're our enemies, I hate them. I hate the ones that live in Jordan, I hate the ones that live in Syria, I hate the ones that live in Detroit, and I certainly hate the ones that are, Hamas, Hezbollah, blah, blah, blah. How do you educate children to be committed to defending their country, even at danger to life and limb, without hating? I don't think Israel's thought about that. I think Israel didn't think about it because we always assumed the conflict would end. Right? Remember the old Yehoram Gaon song, Ani mavtiach lach yalda sheli ktana, shezot tiyeh hamilchama achrona. And many of you could actually sing it right out. I asked you to. Don't worry about it. Right? But I promise you, my little girl, that this was the last war. It was Yehoram Gaon's very famous song during the 73 war. And until 2000, that would be played on the radio all the time. And since 2000, you never, ever, ever hear that song. Ever. And there was actually, Yoram Gaon celebrated his, 70th birthday, 75th birthday, whatever, he had a big birthday not that long ago, and for 3 or 4 days on the radio, they played every possible Yoram Gaon song, and there are many, 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 many dozens of them, and when they played that one, they actually commented that, this is kind of an odd song, but we're going to play it anyway. Because nobody believes we've seen the last war. Nobody even dreamed, it's the tooth fairy. It's the Easter Bunny, the idea of the last war. How do you tell your kids there's been no last war? They want to destroy us, because they actually do, by the way. They want to kill us, because they actually do, by the way. And you have to go train to kill them before they kill us if they move in the wrong direction, what you actually have to do, by the way. But you shouldn't hate. I am much more troubled than I am about the Israeli-Arab thing, and more troubled than I am by the Haredi thing. I am troubled by going to shul. And the elegant but vicious racism that characterizes the discourse of my fellow daveners. Not all of them, but a lot of them. In what's called the Kippah Srugat, or the knitted Kippah community. It's elegant racism, but it's racism. And you'll forgive me. You hear it all over the place in this country too, and now you'll really have to forgive me, especially in the Orthodox community. You just do. And it's the community in which I daven, and it's the community in which I send my kids to school. It's not the community in which I was raised, it's not the community in which I was trained to be a rabbi, and it's not an ideological commitment in my case, that's a whole other story, but it's the community in which we sort of situate ourselves, socially and educationally. And it's a community in which things get said that make me shudder. think that there is an educational challenge both in this country and in Israel. How do you teach kids to love their country? How do you teach kids to know that you have real enemies who really want to do you in, and that you have to defend yourself at all costs, even potentially at the cost of your own existence, personally, but you can't hate them just because they're Arabs. I think we've given absolutely no thought to that educational challenge, either side of the ocean. And if you ask me what is one of the greatest challenges to Israeli civil society, I think that's actually a bigger deal than Haredim or Arabs. Because Haredim are a distinct population and Arabs are a distinct population. They're both enormously important, don't get me wrong. But if you can't create a society of people who are both passionately patriotic and also deeply committed to simple human decency, which includes people not like yourself, then civil society will erode even if you resolve the Israeli-Arab problem and the Haredi problem. You will just produce a society of mean people. And it's not a place where most Israeli kids will want to live. It's not a place where most American Olim and other kinds of Olim will want to live. And people will walk away because it's just gotten too ugly.